y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're going to review WWE Evolution, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view. At least in terms of the WWE. I digress, we don't want to go too negative on this, so we'll let them have their moment. Let's jump right into it. The first match of the night, we have basically two legends from the Attitude/Ruthless Aggression era, Trish Stratus and Lita, going up against Mickie James and Alicia Fox. Initially it was to be Mickie James and Alexa Bliss, but I believe Alexa's in the concussion protocol, or at least that's the story that I've heard about it. I thought this was a good match, a good way to start off the night. Lita and Trish were, I don't want to say surprisingly, better than I thought they would be. You could tell they had lost a step, that they're a little bit older. But they still were pretty good. They still were able to bring on a pretty good quality match. And Mickie James and Alicia Fox is kind of the secret weapon of the women's division. She's been solid for a very long time. There's a reason why she's the longest tenured woman on the roster. She can pretty much do anything you want her to do and put on a solid match. And Mickie James, it's like they said on commentary, these two are going to be Hall of Famers one day, and I truly believe that. I thought this was a really good opener of the match. Trish Stratus and Lita pick up the win. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a nice way to start off. Thought it was fun. Got the crowd hyped, and all through the night, the crowd was really hyped up and amped for the show. I liked it. I liked that atmosphere for them to work in. I thought it lended a lot to the production and lended a lot to the quality of the show. Now, coming off of that, we have our second match of the night, and I'm not going to mention everybody in it because there were tons of people. Ivory coming back, Alundra Blaze, Carmella, Molly Holly. Just a ton of people were in this Battle Royal, basically similar to the people that were in the Royal Rumble earlier in the year. I thought this was cool. I thought maybe this could have been the opener of the night, but I like where it was placed here. You gave them a hot opener, and then you come back with the Battle Royal. The winner gets a championship shot. I like how it broke down. I like how it came down to just the last couple people. And then, Zelina Vega thought she had to win, but really didn't. And then, of course, Nia Jax does pick up the win. I kind of thought maybe we would get an Ember Moon win here. Not that I think there's anything wrong with Nia winning it. I think this is a solid way to build her back up. She's kind of been floating around with nothing to do, so this is a way to get her back into that upper echelon. I kind of thought they would put Ember Moon and elevate her into that next challenger for Ronda Rousey, or for the Raw Women's Champion, whoever that may be at the end of the show. But I'm okay with Nia winning. Either one was good. The crowd kind of seemed to be behind Ember Moon as well. Nia Jax winning makes a lot of sense to me. It kind of gives her that build. It's kind of what they never did with the Big Show. They never really had him win too many of these big battle royals, but he was always the favorite. Well, she won being the favorite, kind of more like what they would do with Andre the Giant. So her winning actually makes a lot of sense. And you could build on that. You could say whenever she's in another battle royal, whether it be the Royal Rumble, she won the first ever, you know how it goes. I'm going to give this match again a 3. I thought it was really good. I like battle royals. I think they're cool. I liked a lot of the stuff in here. The dance routine spot was pretty cool with Ivory and Carmella. I mean, I thought this was pretty decent, actually. Now, our third match of the night is the finals in the Mae Young Classic for this year. Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. And I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I liked this match a lot. I thought it was awesome. I think a lot of the matches in the Mae Young Classic this year have been really, really good, and last year as well. I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was the right two people to be in the finals. I thought this was a good match, a good way to end that. I think this doing this on this pay-per-view added a little bit more prominence to the tournament and to the winner itself. I didn't know who was going to win this, which is a good thing. Like, when you're not sure of who the winner is going to be, because they're both going to be stars. You can tell, just look at them. I mean, Io Shirai is already a star, and so is Toni Storm to an extent. And Toni Storm's only 22 years old, which makes me shake my head and wonder what I'm doing with my life. But I digress. Toni Storm picked up the win after a really good match, the best match of the night to this point. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I really liked the spot afterwards where Triple H and Stephanie and Sarah Amato, a.k.a. Sarah Del Rey, came out to award her the trophy and some flowers. I thought that was really cool. Now, coming up next, we have a 6-person tag team match. We have Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riott Squad of Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan. I kind of got a little bit of a clump there. I like this match. It was a nice breakup. The pacing was really good on it. The thing that I didn't like and the thing that I have problems with some of these 6-person tag matches, kind of feels just like a Raw match. Like it should have been on Raw or Smackdown, not on a prominent role in an important pay-per-view like this. And I understand this was a way to get 6 people onto this pay-per-view, and not necessarily stick them in the Battle Royal, but again, the problems I would have with this would be the same if they stuck this on any other pay-per-view card. I just don't feel that it was built up to the point that they needed this. There's not a real huge feud going there. I know there have been some things with the Riott Squad and all 3 of the other ladies, but it just didn't feel... It felt like it could have been on Monday Night Raw's second hour match. Not that the match itself wasn't. The match itself was really good. Just the build-up and where it was took a little bit away from me. The Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya team pick up the win. I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5. Again, I thought it was a good match. I felt a little bit weird about the booking of it, but that's my biggest critique on it, not necessarily the match itself. Next up we have, for the first time ever, and this is a legitimate first, on a WWE pay-per-view, the NXT Championship is defended. Kairi Sane puts up the belt against Shayna Baszler in a rematch of last year's Mae Young Classic, which I thought was a kind of cool foreshadowing since we have the new Mae Young Classic winner or finals on the same night as this. You could kind of see where winning that took both of these women, where it took Kairi Sane over the last year, where it took Shayna Baszler over the last year. So, really cool that they mentioned that and that they would do this match here. I thought this was a fantastic match. I liked it a lot. I thought this match was the kind of match you would see at an NXT TakeOver, which says a lot because NXT TakeOver's in-ring styles, I think NXT's in-ring style is a little bit superior to the regular WWE programs. I thought this was really good. I thought it was awesome. I liked the ending where the other 2 of the other 4 horsewomen get involved with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, basically costing Kairi Sane the match and allowing Shayna Baszler to pick up the win and regain the NXT Championship to be the first ever 2-time NXT Women's Champion. I thought I really liked it. I liked the story that was told. I like what it leaves open for the future. How is Kairi Sane going to balance out trying to defeat 3 women? Is she going to get back up? Is she going to go to the main roster? Who knows what's going to happen from here? I give this match a 4 out of 5. I thought, again, it was a really good match and really solid story being told inside the ring with what happened in and out of the ring. I thought this really progressed both people's characters really well. Now next up, for the Smackdown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair in a last woman standing match. This match was insane. This was crazy. They were doing some stuff that just looked brutal. They were going through chairs, through tables, kendo sticks. There was a lot of really rough looking spots. They looked to get bruised up a lot and, cuts and dings all over them. They dialed up the intensity. They dialed up the level of violence to this. And this is what I like to see in such a personal feud. You have two former friends, two former best friends, fighting against each other, and it's gotten really, really personal, so you want to see them attack each other and try and basically hurt each other and pull out all the stops, and I thought this was awesome. I really enjoyed the match. There was a little bit of a hiccup where Becky had Charlotte pinned under a bunch of rubble, and Charlotte, to me, didn't fully get up before the 10 count, but they counted it, which comes into play later on when Becky powerbombed Charlotte through a table to the outside. And kind of similarly, she wasn't fully up at the 10 count, but she was struggling to get there. But I think she was, kind of in a similar position as she was in the earlier spot, which to me looked a little bit weird. But again, it didn't take away from the overall match itself. The match itself I thought was fantastic. I really enjoyed this. I thought the level of violence, the story that was told, the hatred between the two women, I really enjoyed this match. It was my favorite match of the night. Becky Lynch retains the Smackdown Women's Championship. I give this one a 5 out of 5. Like I said, it was a really, really solid match. And a really good match on a really good show. And last but not least, we have the main event of the night, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Now, I am going to take a moment here to editorialize a bit and go off just the review subject. On a pay-per-view called Evolution, where we're talking about how far the women have came and how far the women's revolution has brought the women's wrestling since the era of the Divas matches, the bra and panty matches, the Divas title with the butterfly. Not saying that there wasn't great wrestlers and great matches with women during those time frames, but it was looked at as a joke to the point where if a match needed to be cut off a pay-per-view, it was often a Divas match, or it was a 3-minute match on Raw, which most people considered the bathroom break match. And for me, and this is just me speaking, Nikki Bella and Brie Bella, who I think are both good wrestlers, actually. I don't think they're the best wrestlers. I don't think they're the worst. I actually think they're better than they're given credit for. However, they exemplify the Divas division, the Divas era. They exemplify the being popular for being at video shoots, for being popular for being on Total Divas. They were the faces of that era. And to me, as much as they want to say that they brought on the women's revolution, that women's revolution was happening all over the place before them. I mean, Impact Wrestling had a great women's division years before WWE started to put focus on theirs. Shine and Shimmer have been firing on all cylinders for years. There have been women all over the independents that have been killing it in the ring before WWE gave any of them a chance. And I think the real catalyst for WWE, and person they actually gave credit to in the show, was Sarah Del Rey jumping on board and becoming a coach at NXT. And then that crop of women that she had the original four horsewomen, the Sasha Bankses, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair, bringing that infusion of talent and then adding other girls like Paige, who already had talent, some that came after them, Asuka, all this great influx of new actual wrestling talent that was more than just the bathroom break matches, is where I think the women's evolution started. And putting Nikki Bella at a pay-per-view called Evolution in the main event, it did not make sense to me. Now, that being said, I'm going to jump off of my soapbox and rate this match for the match that it was. We had Ronda Rousey defending the Raw Women's Championship versus Nikki Bella. I thought it was going to be hard for them to follow the two previous matches, Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, and Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, which were two excellent, excellent matches. And actually, if you add in the finals of the Mae Young Classic, the night had a lot of really solid matches that were going to be hard for them to top, which is another reason why I don't think this was quite the spot for this match. That being said, I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought that they worked well together. I thought Ronda had her best showing in the last couple months. She started off hot, and then she came down a bit, but I think now we're starting to see her go back up. We're starting to see some of what she's learning and some of her transitioning into a WWE talent instead of an MMA talent is really starting to take hold. You got to remember, guys, she's only about 6-7 months into her WWE career, so for her to be in a main event speaks volumes for her star power, first off, and second off, for her to be credible in a main event this early into her career speaks volumes on her talent. She is extremely talented, and Nikki Bella did not disappoint in this match. She put on a really good match. Like I said, when I didn't jump on my soapbox, Nikki isn't a bad wrestler. She's never been a bad wrestler. It's everything else that came with it, the Total Divas and all that. I really liked this match. I don't think it lived up to the two matches before it, but I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be. They did better than I thought they could. Now, would I put it on as a final match? No, I wouldn't have. I would have probably put Becky and Charlotte as the final match. But at this point, it was what it was. Ronda picked up the win. I'm going to give the match a 3 out of 5. Like I said, it was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I actually kind of thought it might bomb after the two matches before that. All that being said, I think the best match of the night was the last woman standing match, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. There were no stinkers on the show. This show was actually very solid and probably the best pay-per-view that WWE has produced all year, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed this, and I like the fact that we only had 7 matches. It didn't feel like you were forcing matches on because we have to have 2 tag team title matches, an Intercontinental title match, a U.S. title match, 2 WWE Championship matches, 2 Women's Championship matches. It didn't feel like you were forcing matches on the card. For the most part, every match felt like it belonged here, and every match had a certain level of importance. The first match is basically we're seeing legends coming back to reinsert the fact that they were the ones that started this. The Battle Royal had a future Women's Championship match attached to it. Toni Storm versus Io Shirai was the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riott Squad probably had the least amount of importance to the match, but you can look at it as the Riott Squad's kind of the female equivalent of the Shield, so they needed somebody to take them down a notch. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in the first ever last woman standing match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, and Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella for the Raw Women's Championship. So every match had importance to it. Every match meant something. And I like that about this. I like the fact that there wasn't 11 matches. I like the fact that it was a concise, about 3 hours, 3.5 hours of matches that felt like they meant to be there. And I really enjoyed this card. I really enjoyed it. I can't complain about it at all. I thought it was a really good show. All that being said, as a total, I'm going to give the show itself a 4 out of 5. Like I said, there's some really solid matches on this show. Not a stinker on the show. I would not recommend skipping anything if you haven't watched it yet. And if you haven't, I'm sorry, you just heard every spoiler there is. But to me, this is how they should book all of their pay-per-views. All their pay-per-views should have this. They should have importance. They should have great matches. They should have feuds that feel like the people hate each other. And if they could do that and duplicate this with their entire roster, we'd really see some business picking up with the WWE. But basically, that's all I have to say on this one. My name is George Coles, and this has been my review of WWE Evolution.